Greetings from the picturesque Carpathians. I'm lucky to live in one of the most popular regions of Ukraine among tourists. I want to share this beauty with you, but I would ask you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like this video and write any comments under the episode. For example, you can tell me if you like mountains and where you usually vacation. I love cooking very much. This passion appeared even before I moved to Prikarpatia, but it has only intensified here. This region is known for its unique gastronomic culture and authentic cuisine, which is hard to compare with anything else. So, come to the Carpathians, you will definitely have a good meal here. Of course, I like to visit some trendy restaurants or cozy hearts with traditional dishes, but the most delicious is always what you cook with your own hands. That's why I experiment in the kitchen from time to time. Today is also my culinary day. First, I need to knead the dough. I sieve the flour, pour water into a deep bowl, add generous salt, and add vegetable oil. This is a great base for lean dough. I just need to add a flour and mix everything thoroughly. I confess that I prepared a yeast starter in advance and now I add it to the dough. The main thing in this process is to knead it very actively and thoroughly. And now you can leave the mixture alone and let the yeast work. Of course, I am not going to be idle at this time. I need to light the stove and put the sweet potatoes on the cook. In the villages of Prikarpatia, they keep their ancient traditions alive. They cook in wood-burning stoves even in summer. In fact, it's very convenient, especially in these changing times. It was also here, in the Carpathians, that I started embroidering. This is also a tradition that is passed down from generation to generation. In the past, an embroidered ornament on a shirt was considered a kind of element against ill thoughts. It provided protection to its owner. Each element of traditional Ukrainian embroidery has certain meaning. It is the code of the Ukrainian nation. A hand-embroidered shirt has a special energy. In addition, the process of embroidery is very common. It helps to organize thoughts and muffle violent emotions. It helps me to balance myself a lot. I also love walking in nature. It's good that there are endless opportunities of this here. This is the main advantage of living in a Carpathian village. Mountains and meadows are nearby. Here you are always in the bosom of nature. Just amazing. In the city, to get a bunch of parsley, you have to go to the market or supermarket. For me, it's enough to go out into the yard and walk to the garden where the herbs grow. But I have to hurry back to the house. The sweet potatoes are already fully cooked there. This root vegetable is considered healthier than potatoes. It contains a lot of different vitamins and microelements, but until recently, sweet potatoes were not widespread in Ukraine. Now everything is changing, so I am happy to cook mashed sweet potatoes. Now it's time to make the next culinary preparations. To do this, you need chicken, which needs to be divided into separate parts, and vegetables, carrots, onions. In order not to waste too much time, I cut the vegetables into large pieces. It even looks more authentically pleasant to me. And now I have to grind it all in the meat grinder. I don't have an electric grinder, only a manual one, so I have to put a lot of effort into making minced meat. But I try to look for a positive in everything, so I set myself up for the fact that such physical activity is actually very useful. Meanwhile, the dough is already very good. It's loose but very elastic at the same time. I still need to cook the broth. I put clean water on the fire, add chicken and pre-fried vegetables. Then the broth immediately gets an incredible flavor. But I have completely different plans for minced chicken. I add salt and pepper to it and then knead it very well to make it homogeneous. Then I form small meatballs from the minced meat. I add 4 chicken egg yolks to the dough and then knead it thoroughly. Working with dough is a separate pleasure and 100% anti-stress. As a result, it should be quite stiff but elastic. I roll out the finished dough into a thin layer and then cut it into thin strips. This is a simple and affordable way to make delicious homemade noodles. Do you still buy pasta in the store? I recommend trying my method. I guarantee you will love it. Before adding the noodles to the broth, you need to dry them a little. Some people do it in the oven, while I take the noodles to the porch to dry in the sun. But that's not all. I used only half of the dough from the noodles. To the other half, I add mashed sweet potatoes and canned peas. And while these new ingredients are getting to know each other, I add meatballs to the broth. You can also add sliced carrots and dried noodles. Bay leaves and peppercorns are added to taste at the end, when the soup is almost ready. Spices help to relieve the taste of the dish and make it unique. That's why I never neglect them. Now is the time to go around the gardens and harvest your first crop. A variety of salads, broccoli, cabbage, and other greens grow very well here. The same goes for zucchini. In fact, many people consider these vegetables to be tasteless. I would say that these people just do not know how to cook them. Young zucchini I treasure because they contain a lot of nutrients. This year spring was very warm, so the harvest is early in summer. Tomatoes are already ripening in my garden, so I can make my favorite summer salad from my own vegetables. Just look how beautiful it is. the meanwhile, it's time for me to put my homemade bread in the oven. I make 3 versions of bread without any additives, with sweet potatoes and with peas. And to make it beautiful and appetizing, you should brush the top with an egg before baking. I make several small cuts in the dough. This is necessary, firstly, so that your crust on the bread does not crack during baking, and secondly, it just looks beautiful. You can also decorate the top of the bread with nuts, seeds, and anything else that comes to mind. The oven has already heated up well, so the bread is ready to bake. Now you just have to wait a little bit and you can enjoy a delicious lunch made entirely from homemade ingredients. This food is healthy, but is not also delicious, and if you have lunch with a beautiful mountain view, you can enjoy it even more. The bread is already ready. Just look at this beauty. It's fluffy, fragrant, and so delicious that you just can't stop with one piece. And with homemade soup with meatballs and noodles, this bread tastes the best. In the summer, I only eat outside, of course, if the weather permits. Eating delicious food and listening to birds singing, what could be better?
love.